Gentlemen, welcome back to IEM Shenzhen for a Hearthstone event, day number 2, where we're going to find out who's going to be going all the way to the finals today. My name is Dan Frodancho, and I've been your host so far this week, and today I'm joined on the couch by Marcin Nimsh-Filipovic, the captain of Cloud9, and Harrison Chung, also known as Masan. I'm calling you Harrison for formalities. And Masan will be playing on the lower part of the bracket, and right now he's just kind of getting some casting experience and going to see the first series, which is StrifeCro versus Azeri. Real quick, guys, we're going to take a look at StrifeCro and Azeri greeting each other on stage. Now, keep in mind, every single top 8 player is guaranteed $500, but the ultimate prize is $4K. That's going to be determined by tomorrow.
That's a lot of money, right?
Yeah, I think so. It doubles every time. So every series you win doubles your money from 500 to 1,000, 1,000 to 2,000, 2K to 4K.
So basically the players should already be happy with like some money in their pockets, and they already in top 8, and now they're able to play the best of 5 series to get there.
Absolutely, yeah, that's right. It's a good thing to point out. Yesterday it was best of 3s in group stage. Today is best of 5s, and all 4 classes that you brought to the tournament will be presented for the series, and you'll be able to ban 1 class. Kind of similar to yesterday, but at the same time a little bit different because it's single elimination. Masan, how are you feeling, by the way, for like day number 2? Because day number 1 is in the books. You just arrived on day number 1. Like, Masan wasn't even here right before the event. Most players get in, they have a night at the hotel, rest up, and try to adjust the jet lag. Masan just flew straight from Korea that morning and was able to immediately play his best. How do you feel, man?
Well, I feel confident going into the bracket, but I don't know, my first opponent is Maz, which might give me a hard time. We'll see.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So after StrifeCro versus Azeri, Gino will be playing Jackie, a Hong Kong face-off.
Jackie Chan.
Then we have Amaz versus Masan, the battle of the streamers. And then we have RDU versus Xiaosou. Xiaosou was a second-place finisher from Group A. RDU won Group B. I don't know what these symbols actually mean, but they look pretty cool.
Yeah, the bracket looks pretty cool. I mean, I'm really looking forward to those matches.
They look like gym badges from Pokemon, if I have to
If you look really closely, those are Hearthstone things.
Well, yeah, the arcade dust and the badge. But I'm saying, you know, you can use those badges. Like, that could be the flame badge you get from Blade in, what is it, Cinnabar Island? From Pokemon Red and Blue? Yes, that's right. I'm right.
I'm not sure.
Don't question my 90s nostalgia. So we have StrifeCro and Azeri first, and then we're going to keep moving on through the bracket. Best of 5 single elimination. Guys,
they can still veto decks.
Yes, they can still veto decks.
Important, yeah.
So they present the classes to their opponent. They pick one of them. They say you can't play it, and then they pick the order of the 3 classes. From that point on, they just resume the series as per normal. Masan,
are you excited, by the way, to see StrifeCro playing the Shaman deck?
I am excited. I kind of wanted to ask a little bit before we start talking about the series explicitly, because we have a couple minutes of downtime. The first thing I want to ask is, Masan, we're going to assume that you're going to be in the finals, because you're here with us. We don't want to pick you otherwise. Who is going to be there playing you on the other side of the bracket? Do you feel like StrifeCro is the overwhelming favorite? Because on his part of the bracket, there's nobody that's really well known from the Western scene. You have Gino, Jackie, and Azeri. Do you feel like any of these guys can stop StrifeCro on his way to the finals?
I would say Gino might give him a little difficult time against StrifeCro. He's the one the Group C bracket with Nimsh and I.
Yeah, and he eliminated me, and he gave you trouble as well.
Oh my. You know what? I thought we had a couple minutes, but apparently we're straight into game. And
we'll see StrifeCro playing Shaman,
yes.
Or... Wait.
I don't know if StrifeCro's on the left or he's on the right. It's not very explicit.
Because that's a Chinese.
Yeah.
Okay.
So StrifeCro is playing Druid. He opens with Druids, and his opponent is having Shaman.
Okay. So StrifeCro is on the Druid. Yeah, it makes sense, too, just because of the English clients.
Oh, yeah, and StrifeCro is playing Token Druid. And, yeah, let's quickly evaluate the situation. Like, what is going on this board?
Right, I'm trying to catch up with, like, what just happened.
Like, Shenzhen plus Flametongue Totem is pretty nice, right? Like, normally on turn 4 you play Violet Teacher, but here it's kind of tricky.
Yeah, well, it seems like he's going to try to remove it directly and then maybe just put a free loot hoarder out there. I think an Earthshock was just used, that's right, on the previous Harvest Golem, so hopefully he can get value out of that loot hoarder.
Okay, so pretty nice turn from StrifeCro. Instead of playing Violet Teacher, he actually clears the board. And now Shaman. Well, there's a lot of spells, right?
Yeah, he's flirting with the idea of playing this Lightning Storm because he feels like the Drake would trade. But that's going to prevent him from being able to play the Azure Drakes in future turns. Masan, what do you think about that?
It depends on whether Druid is able to kill that 4-1 on the border or not easily.
He kind of doesn't have the turn.
Wait. I was like, you know what? I lost my loot hoarder. This game is over.
Dude, I just can
Flip
see.
the table.
Let's just move on to the next game.
That would be so bad if he actually misclicked the concede, right? It's so dangerous.
Sure.
So I guess like we can also point out that we have a new overlay, so you can see both players. You will be able to see both reactions on the players' faces.
Yeah, that's good. So that way we can kind of get an idea. But we'll walk you through of who's playing who as the series progresses. Now, StrifeCro, he has a normal curve to play the Drake, but again, it trades into the Loot Hoarder, but his opponent's overloaded as well, so it's not like he can drop a very powerful 6-drop minion if he's playing something like Argent Commander or his Fire Elementals.
Well, next turn he will have 4 mana, right? So he's
Exactly.
safely swiping here.
Yeah, safe to swipe. There isn't that many 4-drops that Shaman can play that is strong.
Yeah. And Shenzhen was already played, so like 1 drop is out of the way.
Well, that is
a 4-drop.
4-drop that can be played.
I guess so. Yeah, sometimes you can't get the value, so you just got to cut your losses.
So do you play here to cycle it?
I would.
I guess. Yeah, why not? Like,
I think so. You have your Drake as well to boost up your power and a spell power totem, so you have a lot of flexibility. In fact, that lightning bolt, assuming the Downo stays alive, can be an insane amount of damage.
Also on turn 6, you would probably expect like Druid of the Claw plus something maybe. Like Druid, just use swipe so that there won't be an easy way to get rid of the totem and the Thalnos, so you just play a minion, like you would expect a minion there.
This is actually starting to look a little bit better because as the game continues to develop, it's not always easy for Druids to drop something like Ancient of Lore without having to risk sacrificing losing a lot of the board. Because a lot of times they can just drop Hex and then continue pushing and then start taking away your momentum. And that way, usually Druids fall far behind. But StrifeCro has been able to keep the board clear. It doesn't seem like Azeri's compensating with a lot of card advantage, so overall it seems like StrifeCro's position is pretty decent.
What do you think about this play? Like, he could also play Azure and play Argent Squire, which would net him a card. And
then a Lightning Bolt guarantee would kill that t-shirt, don't you think?
He still will kill it.
I see a card that's really unique. A Bloodlust.
Ooh. So yeah, Bloodlust is interesting. But StrifeCro knows how to play this matchup, and this matchup is mostly about trading cards on board. So if Shaman is able to develop some kind of a board, that Bloodlust will be punishing for StrifeCro. But then again, like if he doesn't, the Bloodlust will be just a dead card, more or less. Is this Ascension of Lord turn?
It is, and looks like the Shaman's kind of a clear board advantage next couple turns.
Yeah, I think the alternatives, because you don't have like a Rat to kill off the Azure Drake to follow up your own Drake. I think the Ancient of Lore is much more powerful here. However, StrifeCro does see and plan things a little bit farther advanced than most players. Usually 3, maybe even 4 turns farther ahead. He always tries to maximize what can I do with every single cards in the next 2-3 turns. Is there a way to kind of maximize it? Should I be tossing out things like BGH in turn 8 or 9 if I can't use it at all? These kinds of things he plans for.
Yeah, and I guess it's a good strategy just to take your time. Like at those tournaments, you have time. There is no way, no point in rushing things.
Exactly. All right, Azeri picks up the Earthshock.
That's a lot of spell power.
Hex looks nice.
Yeah.
It looks nice. And
I think like Hex plus Argent, the Defender Vargas.
Sure.
They just kill the frog with the totem and deal 5 damage.
Yeah, and in a way, Shaman can start imposing upon the board, and this is sort of what Druids are really afraid of, because if the board starts building a lot, it's not like Druid has a lot of access to AoE, so it's very difficult to deal with 2-3 health minions, especially if spell power swipe is out of the equation.
And that Bloodlust is more and more dangerous for StrifeCro.
Yes, Bloodlust. A card we don't see very often, but when it hits hard.
This is a very sticky situation for StrifeCro. Would you just lure in Argent Squire, or would you try to go for something else like the Druid Claw?
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. Normally you would just play Azure Drake and kill the Azure Drake with Wrath, but here you just can't.
Yeah, I think he doesn't want to. I think he just wants to address as much of the board as possible. It's not in his options to clear, so do what he can to pick up value. And I mean, throw down the Argent Squire Wild S. I think
he can assume that Bloodlust is there, because we heard, like, we were talking about stuff, and we know that somebody was playing Bloodlust. So if StrifeCro was around, he probably heard about it.
Oh, so he's aware, you think, of the situation?
Yeah, I think he's aware of Bloodlust.
Okay,
Like,
okay.
Normally, it's a good precaution to just clear the board when you are playing versus Shaman, but
Sure.
still, like, if you're aware that Bloodlust is there, you want to do it even more.
Oh man, I just realized this Earthshock could kill off the Druid of the Claw. That is crazy. And he hasn't even hit some of the higher parts of his curve yet with like fire elementals too, because those things will also start adding to advantage.
The thing he plays them, maybe he cut them actually for Bloodlust and Shenzhen.
All right, we'll see what Azeri rolls.
Oh my
Spell Power
goodness.
Totem. That is a 6 damage. That is a fireball for 2 mana.
Do you go for
Across 2
face then?
turns. You go for face.
Well, Lightning Bolt is like, oh my god.
As intimidating as that. All right, we'll see if StrifeCro picks up. Another Argent Squire. Late game, these cards sit
Kind of like
dead
a
in your
blank,
hand.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Doesn't do much.
He doesn't actually have any removals. Like, all his cards are either draw carded or conditional cards, so it's...
Can he really even clear the board here?
Yeah.
If he can't clear the board, he might be dead to Bloodlust and Lightning Bolt next turn.
Let's see, Bloodlust
He can at
plus
least kill
3,
5/5
9,
Drake.
18, and Lightning Bolt. You're correct. If he can't kill off what he sees right now, StrifeCro is looking at a next turn lethal, but can he even sense that? Does he even know his opponent's playing Bloodlust? All these kinds of things. Hard to predict, but when you stare at this much damage with the Azure Drakes, I think you have to set something's up.
Yeah, he will be able to clear 2 creatures again, leaving Shaman only with 1 creature.
Okay.
That's fine because he keeps the Divine Shield.
Also gains Gibson armor. Well, or Gibson armor.
And it makes sense that he has cards like Violet Teacher in order to synergize with the Bloodlust. You flood the board with tokens, you have lots of cheap spells, and then have it as a finisher.
So any other totems came up?
No, it's actually been spell power every single time, hasn't it? Hasn't it?
Maybe it's rigged.
Oh my goodness. He is hovering over Lightning Bolt. It's tempting, isn't it? You want to create tokens, but at the same time you realize that there's show restraint. It's not always about just getting those 1/1s. All right, well,
Yeah, he needs to draw. He needs to draw into something that
if he gets a
will be
swipe, that would be a massive draw.
Aw.
There's no swipe here. So I guess like he will have to use the Keeper of the Grove to clear again. Kind of like he will be able to clear to kill the Drake, but is it enough? I guess it's enough because like Totem on its own doesn't do that much.
Well, it does give the spell power for a Lightning Bolt in response to it.
Bloodlust is +3 attack, right?
Huh? Yeah, per unit.
Per unit.
That's right.
Okay, so he basically has like if the units stay, he has +6 from Bloodlust, +4 from Flame Tongue Totem, which is 10. 13.
17.
And Lightning Bolt. Yeah, that's lethal.
Yeah, 17,
Yeah, that's
20.
lethal.
So he needs to kill off one of these creatures immediately.
I think he's still dead.
Yeah. You need to kill 2 of these units, which I don't think he can.
He clears one guy, and then there is lethal in hand of Azeri.
Alright, he's got 9. He's got the Lightning Bolt and the
that is
Leroy.
That's even
Some
more
insurance.
overkill.
He could choose not to reveal one of these cards.
I would probably choose not to reveal Leroy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he wants to count a couple of times. Like you,
Or
you can't make
maybe
a mistake.
maybe you reveal Leroy and not show the Bloodlust.
Whoa, he has to be careful too, because if you Flame Tongue and then Bloodlust, you actually lose your Violet Teacher damage because it spawns to the right of it. Does that matter though? I think.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. There you go. He's doing it in the order. He's gonna go with Leroy. He's gonna choose for it, and now StrifeCro is down 1 game, and Azeri jumps out to a lead.
Okay, but this is the best of 5, so he still has a possibility to lose 1 more.
He does, that's right. You get to win 3, so StrifeCro is not on the ropes just yet. But still, Druid is a class that StrifeCro is extremely comfortable with. It's a class that he's innovated several times for the Hearthstone Western scene.
It's a very strong class overall. Like, Druid can 4-0. We've seen it before in the tournaments happening. So it's very flexible, and Token Druid is very powerful as a deck. So what do you think like StrifeCro can pick now?
I don't know all the classes that StrifeCro's playing.
We don't know the bans,
I
right?
saw his Shaman.
Do we know
we
the
didn't
bans?
know the bans either. We were not informed of them. I'm a little bit in the dark on this one, Niv. I'm going to admit that. What classes does he have available?
Okay, so I know that he has Shaman, he has Warlock, and the 4th class would be Rogue.
Okay.
So now being Azeri, what would you ban? You've seen Shaman.
Rogue.
So you ban Rogue.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, and that's the Zoo.
deck.
Ooh.
That's
That is
the
a Zoo
Warlock.
deck. And Zoo against Shaman. Let's talk a little bit about this matchup, Masan. What are some of the keys for the Zoo player to win here?
Well, kill player for it's more dependent on Shaman's draw. I think if they draw into pairs, good cards like Third Spirit and Lightning Storm, they can just give you.
I think Zoo is favored. Basically, Zoo is favored because Zoo can replenish the board very fast. So it's like Shaman really has to get the removal fast and clear the board for the first time, then clear the board for the second time, and Zoo can still come back.
Right.
If you don't set up the board.
There's several reloads that Zoo has after dishing out all of its bullets, essentially. And we'll see whether or not Azeri will be able to draw into those things.
Well, on the other hand, Azeri has Shenzhen, which is not a standard card you're running in his Shaman deck. And Shenzhen might be helpful.
Might be, but then if you establish a board anyway with Zoo and then you use the buffers in order to get those extra damage in, it might kind of be inconsequential.
But there was no Lightning Storm, right?
Not
and without
yet.
the Lightning Storm, this board is pretty sick. I think
it is true.
I think StrifeCro can go. I mean, this is pretty interesting because normally you would want to like use your mana and play all the cards you have, but on the other hand, you want to enrage the troll.
Right, you want to use it on the Armani Berserker. Classic mistake.
StrifeCro decides not to use it in money.
It's smart not to, because just in case there's
Of the Lightning
Play
Storm.
into Lightning Storm
Yeah.
directly.
It's really scary for Shaman to cast a Lightning Storm in this kind of scenario, even if he has it, because a Money Wizard can become 5/1.
Oh my god.
This could be a nightmare for Azeri.
This is a nightmare for Azeri already. He coins the Shenzhen, and then StrifeCro just plays Defender of Argus,
and
Soulfire,
Right.
and
Kills
finish
it
it
with
with
a
1/1.
Or
maybe even
it
just
depends a
gets
little bit
knifed.
on
Maybe
what
it gets knifed
StrifeCro
and it just
draws
dies.
to. Because if StrifeCro draws something really useful,
Oh my god, that was a sick read.
wow. Recognizing that there's a very high likelihood that if he coins out Ascension that he's not going to have it live, especially with an abusive Sergeant draw or something like that. He has all these kinds of ways to buff. He might not even have to use all these things.
That abusive Surgeon will definitely do its work next turn.
For sure.
So being Azeri, you really want to have the Lightning Storm. But sometimes you just don't get it. That's why Shaman is not favored. Like Zoo is favored.
Yeah, it's like you have it or you don't. And it's a lot of the times you don't just because you don't always have those guarantees of removals. And as much as you have those one-for-one removals, sometimes like a Rock Biter or an Earth Shock, Zoo just pumps out so fast and Shaman has to respond and clear multiple times.
Oh my god, this hand is so powerful.
Oh,
he will be even able
goodness.
to tap. Like he can play Wolf, Abusive Sergeant, Soulfire it, kill it, and then tap.
Exactly. Uses his Defender of Argus to trade with the 5 damage.
That's the power of the Zoo deck.
Or even, he doesn't even have to trade. He could just Soulfire and then use the 1/1.
Yeah.
And then push for more damage.
That frog, a 4/2 frog.
Oh
my god.
Doomguard off the top when Hex has been used already. This is
One-
a complete disaster for Azeri.
There's still one more Hex for Azeri, but it doesn't matter. Like he really needs to join the Lightning Storm.
Even if he has Lightning Storm, he needs to roll Spell Power Totem with it. Lightning
Oh my
Storm.
god, he got a Lightning Storm. But it's still not enough.
He really needs
Because there is
spell
a
Spell
power.
power. He needs Spell Power and roll high.
Spell power and roll
Spell
high,
power.
yes.
Spell
Oh,
power.
Spell Power!
Roll high.
What
he
is
needs to roll
going on in
high.
this game?
He needs to roll high or it's over.
Oh my god!
3
What in
RNG
eight
rolls.
What just happened?
Oh my goodness.
I guess he Doomguard, right? But that turn from Azeri.
StrifeCro kind of realized what just happened too and sat back and kind of analyzed what situation. Very, very important moment for Azeri, but he's still on the ropes. This Doomguard can do 5 damage. That puts him at 4 range, so for
And
another
Soulfire
Soulfire.
range.
Yeah. Always going to be tapping for that potential way to end the game. Shaman doesn't heal.
Doesn't heal. An important fact is that Warlock has still 25 health, so he can lift up every turn. So every turn he will be able to get 2 cards to get him closer to that Soulfire.
Definitely.
Feral Spirit.
That's a very good draw.
Again, very good draw. Like he's just playing off the top. Like his hand is pretty much useless, but the cards he's drawing are amazing.
All right. Yeah, he's getting the tools he needs. StrifeCro, if he draws Soulfire, it's over. But it's still a low likelihood just because of how many cards he's in his deck at the moment. Not that much.
He can't play both of the cards, but still, I guess Harvest Golem is kind of cool.
I'll play Harvest Golem over Cleric.
Yeah, you can get a lot
still
more.
Dies.
Yeah.
The thing about Shaman is that even if he is on 4 health, he can sometimes turn it over. Like,
Sure.
Sometimes, yes.
And especially when you have Bloodlust and when you are able to build the board, then with Bloodlust you just
That is a good
steal
point.
the win.
It's so interesting he plays Bloodlust and Leroy. Like the Leroy Bloodlust combo, if there's stuff on the board, can be so devastating.
And now he also has Defender of Argus, so he is possibly able to create 2 more taunts.
Yeah, and
to buy
clear
some
the
more time.
Harvest Golem. Looks like a good option here.
Would you kill Harvest Golem, then
I will definitely kill Harvest Golem over Doomguard here. Because Doomguard still has to get through.
Yeah, that is true. Despite the more taunts you have, it's just harder for Zoo to kind of pick up momentum if you're clearing them, especially if your minions are living. It would depend though. If StrifeCro plays another Elven Archer or something and he taps, well, at this point it's gonna be tapped with Soulfire. But if he picks up Elven Archer and something like a second Doomguard, that can also be a combination win.
Yes, that will probably win the game.
that's like a blank.
All right, we'll see what he taps for. Flame
Oh,
Imp.
you never want to draw Flame Imp in this situation. Like, card is mostly useless.
It is, especially with the Flame Tongue being pretty well protected. StrifeCro is going to try to see if he can push out the board and have more minions to answer his opponent.
I guess you buff second Shadowsun Cleric, yeah. To get it out of the 2-3 range.
Can you imagine another
Lightning Storm
popping up
Another
right now?
Lightning Storm
That
draw.
will turn the table
There is a
around
Fire
completely.
Elemental.
It's
which is
possible.
also-
Oh, a second Feral Spirits!
That's huge again. Without that Feral Spirit, the situation would be kind of tricky. Like, he would have to totem for the Taunt Totem, and then play Feral Spirit, but then like he will lose his Taunt. So it will be again like StrifeCro getting anything that deals 4 damage. But with Feral Spirit, the situation is very much different.
How much? Oh, go ahead, Musan.
Huh?
5-7.
I thought you were talking. I was interrupting you. Well, now he has his Feral Spirits. He also wants to make sure to count how far he is from being able to lethal his opponent.
Yeah,
he has
it's
8.
pretty close actually.
He's got
He has
16.
16.
It's missing 5.
Okay.
Oh
my goodness!
What
That
is
might be
going
game
on?
over.
This might be the game. I think
StrifeCro is down to his last out, which is Soulfire.
He top decks a Soulfire.
That is bananas. Are you kidding me? StrifeCro is looking at potentially his last turn. He needs to draw Soulfire. He has 2 chances to do it. That's not Soulfire. Whoa, wait.
Oh, wait. No,
Wait a second.
Yeah, he needs to tap into Soulfire to be able to kill the
totally
another
surprised me.
charge.
Oh, wait.
Another charge. A Bluegill Warrior?
Another Arcane Golem is winning this game.
A Bluegill Warrior? Oh, StrifeCro whiffs. And that's going to mean game number 2 goes to Azeri.
That game was so sick. Like, he was winning this, he was totally owning this, then a top deck.
And now he knows that, well, there's a very low likelihood that he'll survive. 4 damage is very easy for a Shaman to generate this late into the game.
Especially with Leroy and Lightning Bolt.
Yep, certainly has enough to do it.
That second Lightning Storm, you know, just the entire thing on the top of the deck, Azeri has to be very happy. He made his sacrificial rituals to RNGesus, and it paid off. Game number 2 goes to Azeri.
So now Zoo is eliminated, so he's left with either Rogue or
Shaman.
Shaman.
I will say StrifeCro's Shaman should have a decent chance against this Shaman.
Yes, but then you have to realize StrifeCro's at a point where he has to 3-0 his opponent. And most likely, it seems like Rogue probably would have been banned.
Miracle Rogue would be better to 3-0, I guess.
Yes, it will be better. However, considering he put out the Shaman first, I think.
Yeah.
The Rogue
but
would
it's
be banned.
still possible. Like, we've seen comebacks like that. Like Tyson L losing to StrifeCro like 3 games in a row and then winning 4 in a row.
It's hard to say. You know, StrifeCro, again, from the top half of the bracket, no other well-known Westerners are there. So we kind of look at that bracket and say StrifeCro might have the, quote, easiest way to the bracket, but he's down to his last life and might be the first to be eliminated in the top 8 section of IEM Shenzhen. This is quite surprising, but at the same time, you know, I don't feel like StrifeCro's made mistakes here.
So the Shaman was banned. Like this Shaman with Ancient Mage was actually banned. So StrifeCro is left with Miracle Rogue.
He fears the spell power.
I kind of like a weak deck, right? Like you have to use this deck.
Well, he should be very strong against a Shaman though, because Lightning Storm clears everything almost guaranteed.
Yeah. Yeah, I was obviously kidding. It's not a weak deck. It's a deck that I can this deck can generate free wins. It's possible.
Well, you know, one thing that's going to be a little bit tougher too is that StrifeCro doesn't start on the coin, so quite a slow start for him. And he also needs to kind of pick up better momentum.
Gadgetzan, yeah.
Right,
oh, shit is pretty nice, I guess. But you can use Shift for Gadgetzan mostly.
Sure. Have the ability to draw into it later.
Or like even use it on turn 5.
Here power is more damage over time anyways, and he did use his coin to do it, so pushing it out.
Look at this Shaman build. It's a really interesting build. Violet Teacher, like Shenzhen and Bloodlust.
I feel like there's a variant of that, similar to like what decks Show has played before, or even Duckwing Phase. They love throwing Violet Teachers into their mid-rangey type of deck, whether it's Mage or Shaman. I've seen that before. I'm not sure if it's the exact variant, but it might be inspired similar to those lines. All right, StrifeCro plays a naked SI7 agent, no battle cry.
Ooh. As second Violet Teacher. Well, those creatures are annoying. When they start coming in the game, like starting from turn 4, it's a lot of health to deal with from Rogue. So you either ignore them and just push with damage, or try killing them, just wasting a lot of damage on the creatures.
Use a Lightning Bolt and it's going to be off curve once again for his 4 mana.
I'm actually surprised he did that, because the next turn he could have played this Ancient Shieldmaster or Violet Teacher.
Yeah, precisely. Now StrifeCro can drop this Thalnos and take out a Totem. Start working on his opponent's board while drawing closer to, hopefully, what is his Guidance Hand. But the Azure Drake is also a nice pickup in that previous couple of draws.
Azure Drake is also fine. Like turn 5 will be just filled, yeah.
In fact, I prefer it most of the time, even if I have Auctioneer, unless I have like, Conceal.
Ridiculous hand, preparation, conceals.
Also, what's important is that he has a Blade Flurry, which is kind of good versus Shadow.
That is an MVP card for sure.
Oh, and the Deadly Poison to accompany the Flurry.
Yeah. All right. So StrifeCro has some good tools at his disposal. Azeri, meanwhile, is going to be on 3 mana.
I guess he can still attack into a Totem.
I think I will wait. Because you're going to be playing
next turn you play Azure Drake anyway. Okay, that's fine. Do you hex the 1/1?
No,
really. Hexing because you
don't know. You don't know if he has Auctioneer already or not.
You can make an educated guess.
You could, but then it makes your opponent really feel safe to drop his Gadget Hand, whether or not you guess right or not wrong.
I guess you just drop the Totem here. Oh, this Totem. I didn't think about this Totem. I mean, this Totem is fine. He has a lot of cards anyway.
Now, I was going to take a second to maybe comment on the placing of the Flame Tongue, but I think it's inconsequential because that one's going to die very soon regardless. All right, StrifeCro coming up on turn 5. Picks up a backstab. Wow.
It's a board clear then.
Yes.
Yeah, this is pretty nice. So what's going on? I mean, he'll play Azure Drake, obviously, backstab the 0-3 and kill the 0-1 with the knife.
Right. He doesn't have to. I mean, he can also play SI7 and weapon up again, but I mean, the Drake is just so imposing. It costs way more. If he doesn't remove it, then you have spell power. You know, for some reason, if he was able to do 3 damage, very easy. Rock Biters, another Lightning Bolt, etc. Versus this is much harder to remove. Second backstab pickup from StrifeCro.
But still no Gadgetzan. He's missing that Gadgetzan. So the strategy he has to apply here is just pressure. Like, he has to deal as much damage as possible. He has Lure, he has Shadow Step, which is 12 damage. Weapon with Poison is another 6. This is 18. So he needs to find the 12 damage somewhere, right?
Somehow, yes, he must. And again, a little bit awkward for Azeri.
And this could be all because he couldn't play the Violet Teacher last
turn. His 4 drops. Even dating very back at the very beginning, he had Coin as well in the Loot Hoarder. And he chose to do that and kind of play not into the curve that he's naturally given. Turn 2 Loot Hoarder, turn 3 a 4 drop, turn 4 a 4 drop.
Yeah, he kind of like broke his own curve here. But still, I think you've just played a Violet Teacher and maybe do you Rock Biter even, like to make a token? I don't know. Like, kind of an annoying thing is that with Azure Drake on board, Eviscerate deals 5 damage, so it
so
can
these
easily
4 drops
clear,
can just die, no matter what. Hexing the Drake would be a super passive play, and if the opponent has Gadget Sand concealed, then it's like, at that point, they can just run away with the game. But that's what Azeri chooses.
This guy has not, I have not, okay, that's the first time we were saying not Spell Power Totem. But I was just going to comment on that fact that he could still flank Spell Power Totem into Lightning Storm kills the Auctioneer.
Oh, that's true. That is true. No Gadget Sand yet for StrifeCro. He picks up a sap.
I guess this is a pretty easy turn with S67. He doesn't even have to use Backstab yet. He can keep Backstab for possible Gadget Sand. Hopeful Gadget Sand.
Hopefully the inevitable Gadget Sand. But we'll see how Azeri's going to be able to continue to build out, because normally by now StrifeCro will be like, well, you know, turn 6, maybe he might Fire Elemental and kill off this 3/3. So you kind of keep planning, do I have a way to answer Fire Elemental? Well,
yeah,
you don't have the Eviscerate.
He definitely has, yeah.
Because at that point, you also want to make sure that as your turns go on, you want to be able to respond to whatever your opponent has.
Well, there is no Fire Elemental, but there's a couple of cool spells in here. So he can still, like, if he wants to develop the board, he is still safe on 30 health. So he just can develop the board with Lightning Storm, maybe even Rockbiter.
Rockbiter clear off the frog, but
one more. Yeah, but like he gets another token, right?
Yeah.
And with the possible Bloodlust. Oh, preparation is kind of bad.
Yeah, no Gadgets in here.
Like he can't deal damage. There's no way he can deal pressure now. He's
no, he has to just keep on clearing board until
yeah,
it
it actually looks pretty bad for StrifeCro here.
At least he has an easy kill on Violet Teacher.
Yeah, he has the backstab.
Do you kill Violet Teacher or do you sub her?
Huh?
Maybe you can sub Violet Teacher.
Yeah, maybe, and just wait for better Blade Flurry or something.
Yeah, like if you use, I don't know. You can also kill it with backstab and attack, but
ooh, wow. Wow, a full mana pass on turn 7. Wind Fury, this is a extremely combo-heavy damage deck from Shaman. Wind Fury, Leroy's Bloodlust.
Typically, people just run one
of those
he has
elements.
2 instead.
You know what? I bet he's going to draw into like an Alec here soon, and it's like, well, you just have nothing at all. Like, no mid-range creature. That would be very, very surprising.
Do you think that his opponent actually thinks that there is a Blade Flurry? Like, without StrifeCro attacking, it's kind of like a clear signal. Hey, I have a Blade Flurry. But apparently he doesn't care.
Well, it also, I mean, he is holding 6 cards. Obviously, one of them is not Gadget Sand. But what else could be holding? A bunch of, like, maybe Conceals, Cold Blood, Shadow Steps? And so, like, that's what he could probably be theorizing. I don't know if he necessarily suspects a Blade Flurry. All right, see what StrifeCro's going to draw. It needs to be something like Gadget Sand.
Yeah, he really needs that Gadget Sand. He can clear this board.
Yeah, he can clear board.
But he will have to use so many cards.
Just Blade Flurry and Backstab.
Cards, yeah. Blade Flurry and Backstab kills it.
Can he actually ignore this board?
Oh, he's going to go for Blade Flurry Shadow Step. So utilize as much mana as possible and then re-weapon up. All right. Go for the maximum value play. And you know what? Rogue's not exactly at a threatening level of health either. Shaman sometimes wants to pressure early and then try to finish off. But seems like he's been able to stay at 22, which in his mind seems to be a good number.
Yeah, this turn somehow was not that bad.
As long as he draws into the Auctioneer next turn, that is. If he doesn't, he's in a terrible spot.
If he gets another Shadow Step, it's so it's still interesting, I guess. And there is no taunt, so he's like clean and open.
Oh, well, Bloodlust comes out. Bloodlust Rockbiter, Wind Fury.
Wait, is it lethal?
Is that lethal?
Well, okay,
6,
so the
9,
Bloodlust
18. Yes, it is lethal.
9, and then the 6 gets Wind Fury. Nope, the 9 gets
3.
18.
Oh no, it's 21 damage.
It's 21.
I guess you Leroy again. Do you Leroy?
Leroy, and then
Fan of
Knives, and then Eviscerate. Oh my goodness, this could be a ballsy play.
Do you prep?
prep
No,
into what would you want to prep?
I wanted to prep Fun of Knives.
Well, I meant like what would you save the mana for the gadget stand? Because then you have a lot of spells left anyways. Save the prep for the gadget stand. Oh man, StrifeCro's in a pretty bad spot. And it's come down to the Miracle Rogue, where normally Shaman doesn't have the easiest time with Miracle Rogue.
Well, Miracle Rogue is a deck that can actually like lose with itself, right? Like
Sure.
if you don't get the gadgets,
yeah. If you just whiff every single time.
It's kind of like a solitaire.
Oh man! And now all of a sudden, Azeri draws the Leroy.
Oh,
Leroy.
Man. It's not enough, but it's
not enough, but
it's so
pretty
much.
Close.
9-18. He has 18 damage. Holy moly. Trying to calculate if there's any other possible way, but he doesn't have enough mana to do everything.
Well, he has to deal with Leroy anyway. I guess you just create a totem and lightning storm.
That is one of the things you're afraid of.
You could Leroy and lightning storm.
Leroy and lightning interesting as well.
Leroy lightning storm and then just totem, and then hopefully your Bloodlust Wind Fury combos can finish off.
I think like Shaman as a class is a definite MVP of this tournament.
Well, it's a surprise factor. We haven't seen Shaman that often, but when they do, they've delivered. For the most part, they've been beating the handlocks. They've won some really tough matchups, and now it might be Azeri's ticket to the semifinals, defeating the number 3 ranked ranked player in the world, at least according to Ghosty Gamers. This still gives him 7 mana next turn, so the flexibility to Leroy, Wind Fury, and Rockbiter. Although that
still isn't enough.
That's not lethal, so Azeri might have set up himself improperly to kill next turn. In fact, he still ended up the game with 4 mana.
What did he draw actually?
He drew a Fire Elemental.
Okay.
All right, let's see what StrifeCro picked up off the Drake. Will it finally be something like a gadget stand?
Shift is not that bad.
Not bad. Just keep the draws going. At least that's the least he can ask for. Second best thing. 2 saps in StrifeCro's Miracle Rogue.
And double preparation. This hand is so bad.
All right, well, StrifeCro passes back to his opponent. He's not dead yet, unless maybe Azeri picks up a little bit more juice.
Another Rockbiter? Okay, that's not a Rockbiter. Well, Azeri, if he doesn't win, and we know that he doesn't win here, right? He has to clear the 4/4.
You can do it with Fire Elemental and like the Earth Shock.
Yeah, so just develop the board.
Force your opponent to do something immediate, maybe sap.
But then again, like, StrifeCro is getting turns, right? And he's slowly grinding his way.
Eventually, if this game doesn't end anytime soon, the gadget stand will come. Unless it's the very last 2 cards in his deck. Eventually.
Now, StrifeCro's seen Leroy before. That also means that he should expect Wind Fury.
It's now or never. Like, this is the point. He has double preparations, double saps. He gets a Cold Blood. That is not what he needs.
He has to accept this.
There are no other charge minions, right? So Cold Blood is kind of like useless again.
He needs to get something big. Well, he needs to gadget stand. He needs to get something big like a Van Cleef, maybe even a Conceal on one of the smaller minions, and then be able to finish off the game that way. But he lost Leroy already, so StrifeCro's
I think he really needs that gadget stand. Like with gadget stand, it's possible that if his turn is not very exciting, then with gadget stand it's possible to do stuff.
Feral Spirits is very nice too. Feral Spirits is excellent. The more I think about it.
Yeah, Feral Spirit and Fire Elemental is so good.
Yep. And he knows that he's out of Blade Fury. Well, he doesn't know for sure, but most of the rogues don't run.
Yeah, just the run one. And Fun of Knives was also used. So just set up the board for the kill next turn.
There we go. So Azeri finally being able to posture himself to lethal next turn. StrifeCro, what can he even do if he draws his gadget stand? I'm still finding a hard way for him to get out of this.
Yeah, with the Bloodlust and Wind Fury and Rockbiter.
A Van Cleef. Well, he finally drew something like a minion to place, but it was too little, too late. How many cards does he have left in his deck? Because then you start doing calculations. Man, I drew through 16, 17 cards in my deck. That is something like a 65 to 70% chance of drawing the Gaijin hand, and StrifeCro whiffs. Now, StrifeCro thinks he still has another turn, but we know that there's 18 damage sitting in the hand of his opponent.
That's even... There is actually even more.
Yeah.
With like Bloodlust and
Leroy, Bloodlust,
and Wind Fury.
On the Rockbiter would give...
Yeah.
He doesn't have full mana, though, because he has...
Yeah, he just burnt the...
He has Overload for
8 mana right now.
It's 9, 12, 18, 20, 22. Yeah.
He's got him way covered. And this is all that StrifeCro can do. He has to place his 4-4, but it's over. Azeri has the damage to end the game right now.
The only question is, how is he going to finish it?
You got it. I mean, showing the blood. At this point, people have seen, the other players are watching. They see the Wind Fury and the Bloodlust, so they know what's coming up. I don't think it's worth hiding.
I think he needs
to
play...
just use Bloodlust.
Yeah, he needs to play... Wait,
Bloodlust, Rockbiter, Wind Fury. Why not?
Okay.
Yeah, why not?
Possible, yeah.
Why not? That's 9, 13, plus the 6. Yeah, that's 20. And StrifeCro, whoa! He had a great group run, but his run ends here. Azeri moves on to semifinals.
The first player that's being eliminated. What an upset.
Cloud9 is out of the tournament.
Wow.
And they came in as the powerhouses of IEM Shenzhen. Azeri not only defeats StrifeCro, but he 3-0s him with Shaman. It's not even something like a Miracle Rogue abuser. I put that in quotation marks because a lot of people say, oh, well, anybody can just draw the Gadget Zands and win, but he didn't even need that. He played it with his own unique spin
own brew of Shaman.
Combo Shaman.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Shaman will... I mean, there were a couple of like moments, right? When he got the spell damage totem, then he topped the Lightning Storm, then he got another Lightning Storm. But basically, he played really well. Like, he was his own Shaman, he was playing his own cards. He maybe made a couple of questionable plays, but overall it worked for him. And setting up a board, using that Bloodlust to an advantage, worked really nice.
Absolutely, and it shows again that these Eastern players, as much as they might be kind of removed from the metagame, doesn't mean that they're poor players by any means, right? Because he was playing cards where maybe that works more in the Asian metagame. I have to kind of be honest, I don't know too much about all the ins and outs of maybe the Asian scene.
I heard they love aggro.
They love aggro, they love, you know, these weird cards like Mad Bombers in their mage decks. Maybe they know something we don't know about their specific meta, so maybe all the combo stuff of their Shaman works for Azeri in terms of tournament play. Regardless, he was able to pull it off. A lot of people say that deck isn't very consistent, right?
Like Shaman overall?
Well, not the Shaman, but if you run 2 combos.
Like Wind Fury and Bloodlust.
Yeah.
All these tons of cards. Maybe something, maybe Violet Teacher anchors it.
You're the Shaman specialist. Like, you play Shaman a lot. Like, what do you think about this deck?
I have tried this deck before and I have gotten pretty high with it, but you really just need right cards at the right moment, and it's quite not consistent.
If everything lines up, it feels beautiful.
Everything lines up, then you have all of a sudden 30 damage bursts coming at the face.
Oh, dude, I love it. I will play this deck on ladder.
Sure, it sounds like a fun deck to test out with. You know, we're going to see how everything's going to go real quick, but we do have another series. That's only one of 4 best-of-5s that we have for the quarterfinals alone, and we probably will be able to cover the semifinals as well. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, more action from IEM Shenzhen here in China.
We still have 1 minute.